Hello everyone, my name is Rebecca Moreno, and today I will be presenting on the emerging trend of FlipGrid. Now to get started, the emerging trend of FlipGrid, according to FlipGrid.com, is that FlipGrid is a leading video discussion platform for millions of pre-K to PhD educators, students, and families. Basically, FlipGrid utilizes videos to facilitate interaction between students and teachers. FlipGrid is a website that allows teachers, or any educator in fact, to create grids of short discussion-style questions that students respond to through recorded videos. Each grid that is designed is effectively a message board where teachers can ask a question and their students can post up to 90-second video responses that will appear in the specific grid that they are responding to. As a teacher, you can create grids that can be for the whole class. It could be for a specific group of students. It could be for a project group, anything that you want to create a grid for. The best thing about each grid is that it holds an unlimited number of questions that a teacher can ask, and each question can hold an unlimited number of responses. So students can respond as many times as they would like to questions. So since we kind of touched on what FlipGrid is, and that it's a website for teachers to create grids for student discussion, the videos will appear on the grid for all to see and comment. There is no limit to responses, and each grid will have the message board where students can post an up to 90-second video response. There is an option for educators to pick that when students submit their video response, FlipGrid would notify you. So since we kind of touched upon the generic features of FlipGrid, how will you get started with FlipGrid? Well, as an educator, you can create a free teacher account. Yes, it is free. You can create a grid, which is considered your FlipGrid classroom. You can add topics or your questions, and you are able to share with your students through a specific grid URL that they will click on, and they will type in their specific FlipGrid code that they will input, and it will take them directly to the grid. So now that we kind of brushed upon what FlipGrid is, let's take a tour on FlipGrid.com. Here is the FlipGrid website on FlipGrid.com. This is the code that students will input their specific FlipGrid code to access the classroom grid. Here as an educator, you will log in. Here is my grid right here. With my students, I did an About Me topic where students introduced themselves to one another, and they stated 2 to 3 interesting facts about them. And this was their flip code that they used. Right now it's active. You can make it inactive. Once you create your grid, you can choose whether it would be password protected or not. Then you can begin adding questions to your grid one by one, and each question can be up to 24 characters or less. After you ask your question and it's complete, you can activate them. So you would push active, and then you can share it with whoever you would like. So if you have a Google Classroom, you can do that. You can send the URL, or you can just give them the flip code, and they can just go on the website and input that code right there. It tells you how many minutes your students have been engaged. So right now it's 4 minutes and 5 seconds, not too long for my kiddos. It tells you the activity, so how many grids you have, how many topics were created, how many videos were created, and then how many videos overall. And it just kind of gives you a little chart stating how active your students are with using FlipGrid. As an educator, you can look up trending topics and that you could share with your students and create fun topics for your students to engage in through FlipGrid. One really cool thing about FlipGrid is that you can connect with other grid classrooms over the world, and you're able to create hashtag grid pals. There's also 1,000 of ready to rock topics that you could use on the FlipGrid website that you can share with your students. And there's a wide range of topics and subjects. And you're able to access FlipGrid on any device, whether that's on Microsoft, Apple, or Google. And here's an example of what it looks like when a student is recording their video on FlipGrid. And their big thing is that every student has a voice. And here we are, back to the beginning. So why, as educators, should we use FlipGrid within the classroom? Well, it makes classroom discussion very appealing, and students are very engaged in what they are doing. Every student is able to have a voice. So for our shy students that we have in the classroom, they're able to have a voice and record their thoughts, and they can hear from other students, and they don't have to be sharing their thoughts in an environment that makes them uncomfortable. They're able to share their voice online through FlipGrid and see other students' responses as well. It's a flexible venue for teachers and students to communicate whenever and wherever. It's a safe place to foster discussion and collaboration among teachers and students. And best of all, it is free. Any educator loves an engaging technology resource that engages students to learn and grow and communicate and collaborate. And like FlipGrid says, every student will have their voice using this amazing technology trend. So how can you as an educator use FlipGrid? So before I close my presentation, I wanted to give some specific examples how you as an educator can use FlipGrid within your classroom. So you can use FlipGrid to further classroom discussions, for example, by assigning questions as homework assignments, and then you're able to continue the conversation in class the next day. You could also have students state their opinions on a critical current event that is going on for social studies. You can use it in a math class to ask questions to describe the specific process that they use to solve a very complicated problem. You might also use FlipGrid for students to respond to a single topic, such as stating their opinion or review on a specific book that they just read, on a movie or television show. But best of all, you can have students reflect. You can ask students to reflect on how a specific lesson went, a unit. Even at the end of the year, they can reflect on what they've learned and what they would recommend to future students. I hope you get the chance to try out FlipGrid. It's an amazing technology resource tool to use. Students love it, and it's really accessible. And here are my references. Thank you for listening.